episode 4 of Sweet Reincarnation, where we just might find out what tone this anime is going to set for the rest of the season. Now, I have not been the most excited about Sweet Reincarnation. I thought the show had some potential. I did like where the first 3 episodes were going, but it didn't really feel like the show had too much of its own identity, and I wasn't really sure where it was going to go from there. But with episode 4, I do believe we are starting to just see the start of the tone and future this season might have, and where it might start to be going. Episode 4 is fairly simplistic. The Lord Casserole finds out that the thief is running out of money because of the repairs and everything else they have to do to recover from the bandit attack. Paves ends up finding a money-making scheme after talking with his lieutenants, basically replicating images onto some sort of wood or cloth or whatever else to use for matchmaking purposes, for marrying off their daughters, etc. And that is, of course, a very needed thing for many parents in this world. So it shows a lot of potential to make a lot of money. I will say that I am enjoying how they are using his replicatability to the extent they are. It's not just a gimmick. They seem to actually trying to use his ability in smart, unique ways to help himself and his family in this world, which is good, because often they will just use the power that the MC gets as some sort of gimmick, or not really utilize it to its full potential. So seeing this used in this way, for in this case to make money, is a nice thing to see, and I hope they do more with that in the future. We do also find out that apparently Lord Casserole and his wife cut the connections with their parents in the past, so they can't ask them for financial help. Apparently, he basically eloped with her in the past when he didn't really have any status or anything but a barren fiefdom. So that's interesting. Most of this episode, though, or the meat of this episode, definitely comes in the form of the visit to the Count Retes in the local capital there, when they go to her to ask for reparations and damages and such to cover for the bandit attack. I did quite enjoy the entire negotiation arc that went on in the latter portion of this episode, and just the inner monologues of each person trying to decipher things and trying to avoid talking about this and this, and just the covert negotiation that goes on outside of the overt communication. And I love all things like that in anime. I also love, just power struggles, geopolitics, and all these things that go on in a world like this. So I did quite like how they did that part of the episode, including just the small things where the Countess, with her inner monologue, says to herself, okay, yes, I did end up paying 150 gold, but at least that is a small price to pay still from potentially losing the king's trust if this issue is brought up to him. So those things I did quite appreciate, and to me sets a good tone for the show of what it might be moving forward. Paves clearly as well is talented in negotiation. He took that like a champ and got a flawless victory, I would say, by the end. Of course, he couldn't contain himself but to criticize or give constructive criticism about the sweets and tea that was served during the visit, but what can you expect? He is a patissier after all. We do find out about some backstory on the Count as well, which was interesting, because she is a lady, which of course in this world means that she can't really hold a Count title on her own. Technically, it is just her holding the title for a male, be it a husband or son or whatever. But apparently all her older relatives died in combat or conflict of some sort, and there was only a young boy child left that she was allowed to administer the Kingdom for, or like the Area for, until he came of age. But mysteriously, the young boy died before he came of age, meaning she still keeps the Count title. Now, how the young boy died, who knows? I am sure it is just because of natural causes, right? Surely. Anyway, it does show that this Count Retes might be a formidable opponent that might not be shy from employing some dirty and borderline morally abhorrent tactics to retain power. We will have to see how that relationship between her and Pace and the fiefdom of Mortel develops in the future. This episode does also shower over a concept that I heard some other people talking about that might have been disproven in this episode, or at least put off. I have heard some other reviewers, myself included, thinking about the possibility of Pace using his replicate ability to replicate, for example, gold, right? Or let's say apples or whatever else in this world, like sugar or whatever, to basically have unlimited resources. But from this episode, it seems that isn't going to be possible. So from what we know, Paves, with his ability, is able to replicate things he has seen or interacted with, but it doesn't seem he can actually copy items in and of itself. At least not yet. As in this episode, when he is asked about just selling Bonka pies for money, he says that no, we would need a ton of Bonkas to do that, and we can't just get that many. Seeming to disprove the ability of him to replicate items straight up, just copy-paste. I suppose this might just be because he doesn't know he can do that yet, or hasn't discovered that part of his powers yet, but at least for now, it doesn't seem like that is a possibility, which will be a limiting factor for him moving forward with how he may use his powers. But we will have to see how that turns out. Interesting though. But yes, to end off this episode review here, I think that this show definitely has potential. I mean, it isn't amazing or anything, and at the start, I thought this was just going to be like a goofy, sweet, foodie reincarnation anime, but it seems to be covering a lot more than just sweets, and sweets is just a theme of the show and a quirk of the show, but it is far from the meat and potatoes of the show. And I feel like episode 4 really sets the tone for what this show might become and what direction it might be going in, and I think that direction is going to be a good one. I think this show is going to be very enjoyable for what it is, and I think it's going to be definitely in the upper echelon of isekai this summer 2023 season. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode 4 review of Sweet Reincarnation. If you did, please do hit that notification bell, that subscribe button, that like button, all the buttons. Hit them like you mean it, hit them hard, hit them fast. I do appreciate all the support, of course, if you choose to do so. Now I open the floor to you. Did you like the show, the episode? What are your thoughts on the episode? Why did you like something? Why did you not like something? Do you have any questions? Whatever else, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will respond to the best of my ability. That being said, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next anime review of some sort, so bye-bye.